Hi, my name is Vika. I'm 23 years old and I have Turner syndrome. Turner syndrome is a chromosomal disorder that cannot be cured. My mother was told I wouldn't live more than 2 days. The syndrome primarily manifests in physical anomalies. For instance, I have the full set of typical features, including shield-shaped chest, a high, narrow palate, and widely spaced nipples. There's also growth retardation. Typically, individuals don't grow beyond 135 centimeters if they don't receive timely treatment. Thanks to the doctors, however, I managed to reach a height of 150 centimeters. Unfortunately, at 17, I developed diabetes and had to stop the treatment due to medication incompatibility. Essentially, I spent 21 years in and out of hospitals, as one might say. Yes, this syndrome unfortunately affects many internal organs, primarily the heart. I had 2 congenital heart defects and underwent 2 surgeries at the age of 9. I have scoliosis of the 2nd and 3rd degree, and I have only 1 kidney, which is also related to this syndrome. The 2nd kidney is either undetectable on ultrasound or they appear fused together. Even the doctors can't be sure if I have a 2nd kidney or not. I've always known something was wrong with me from birth because of all these physical defects. They're quite apparent, along with other problems. As for the other diagnoses stemming from the primary Turner syndrome, after undergoing 2 heart surgeries, I was homebound for 2 years, which covered 3rd and 4th grade. Then I went to another school in 5th grade because my mom insisted, and I wanted to be part of the class, to learn like everyone else. They welcomed me very poorly, and I don't even know why it turned out that way, but unfortunately, they treated me terribly, and I was bullied, which were just some awful years. I tried to seek help from adults, but it seemed they either didn't understand me or didn't know how to handle the class or assist me. Probably during that period, I convinced myself that if people are healthy, if they are stronger than you, then they have the right to demean and insult you. So I probably built up a psychological barrier and shut myself off from people and friends for many years. They stole my keys. I would come home without them, crying, because naturally, a 5th grade little girl found herself in such a situation. They stole my backpack, threw my jacket in the trash. Of course, my parents tried to intervene, and for some time it would stop. But then it would start again. It all finally stopped only after the 9th grade. I also had many incidents at university, a lot of different insults. During the exam period, I couldn't use the internet, and I told the girls that I had called. I had asked, "But you didn't pay for the internet, and I won't pay." The kind of insults and slang that came my way led to my roommate Rita, whom I was living with at the time, saying she would pay for me just to make it stop. But they just threw the money in her face saying, "Here, for her medicine." That probably hurt me the most. I was so shaken, my blood sugar spiked. And yes, in 20 minutes I had to go to class. So I took my insulin, wiped away the tears, and went to my political science lecture. Yes, probably everyone whom I tried to explain this to, tried to tell about it, they were surprised as if hearing about it for the first time. And some even said things like, "Hide your cheekbones with your hair, they are staring at you," and similar comments, although I didn't pay attention to it when I tied my hair back, just as other girls do. But yes, people are surprised, even doctors. It's still a poorly understood syndrome, but probably for the first time when I stood up for myself was in my 2nd year of university. I was on my way home, riding on the train, and some tipsy girls started to hassle and insult me. And then, for the first time, I said, "I am also a human." After that, an adult man noticed what was happening, stepped in, and it all stopped. But we live in a society where you have to be like everyone else. And if you're not, you probably won't have a place, you won't get a job, you won't have a place in society, and in the eyes of many, you won't be able to have a family. Yes, unfortunately, children can be cruel, and I call for the fact that we shouldn't be like that all people are equal, and instead, we need to support and try to befriend each other. I just want people to know that this happens always, and to everyone, and no one is immune. It's important to resolve situations properly, to explain them correctly, and I call for peace and understanding. Honestly, I don't even know what I would want to say to those who treated me this way at university and school. Just take a look at yourself from the outside and think about it. It could happen to anyone. I believe that before taking any action, you should think about it many times. We had a medical training section, naturally, including a chapter on diabetes. And when I read it at home, I thought, how do people live like this? It's terrible. That's the only test I flunked, honestly, because I just couldn't concentrate. I thought, how can this be? Why are people so afflicted? Why the endless injections and all that? As fate would have it, I now know about diabetes, probably as well as doctors do. Yes, a lot has changed in my life since I got sick. Especially after diabetes manifested. It took me 4 years to adapt. It's bad that I was alone until I met my doctor. I've survived 2 diabetic comas, or sugar comas, as they are also called. The first one happened when I was 17, just after I was admitted to the hospital. Due to a staff error, they gave me an IV drip with glucose. I remember waking up in the evening, and fortunately, another nurse who came to greet me as the new girl in the ward noticed. The glucometer was off the charts by then, and it was she who realized that the wrong drip had been administered. My second diabetic coma occurred in June last year. As usual, I checked my sugar before bed. It was a bit low. I don't even remember how it happened. I remember getting up from the couch, shaking, feeling nauseous, and then just falling to the floor. I even double-checked with the doctor, and yes, he confirmed it was a coma, and said that in such cases, you should never delay eating or skip meals like I did. I was actually thinking at that moment. I thought about going to the bathroom to wash up and then coming back to finish eating. The most important thing is to have someone with you. Someone who would notice your condition, call an ambulance, or provide aid themselves if they know how. But I was alone, so you could say I'm a fighter. I survived. I helped myself. However, there are restrictions. Yes, due to diabetes, physical activities are limited. Also, staying in the heat, alcohol. But if to be straightforward, these are the most important restrictions I mentioned. And of course, sweets. Unfortunately, with a syndrome like mine, there's even no chance of getting pregnant and carrying a baby to term. And it's unlikely that doctors would even allow me to have a child. I think in a few years the issue will come up, why aren't you married yet? Family, children, I don't even know how to explain to some people right now that this is who I am. Sometimes it's not bad to be a black sheep. I'm currently on hormone therapy because we consulted the doctor in time. She prescribed a course of drugs that I need to take for life to maintain my feminine health. The drugs I took before, they specifically help develop the female reproductive organs and to bring them to a normal level, because fortunately things weren't too far gone and the condition was treatable. Now I'm on different drugs, but these are for life. Yes, as I grow older, as some hormonal changes occur, this therapy may change, but in any case, it will never be completely discontinued, because as my doctor says, the female aspect could get even worse if the therapy is stopped. You were probably born this way and always saw yourself just as this. Only remembered yourself as this. You just need to stand in front of the mirror one day and say that this is who you are. Nothing can be changed, so accept yourself. Fight. Honestly, I'd like to work through the situation, to process everything, because of what was imprinted on me in childhood. But for now, no, I haven't sought help or gone anywhere. Being young and living with Turner syndrome is strange, but I try my best and I manage.